Welcome once again to my terrifying, yet humble and occasionally tasteful abode. I am the old mausoleum custodian. Tell me, do you feel the sting in the air? Oh, the nights grow colder and darker, and the hour draws ever nearer to the devil's night, Halloween! The veil grows thinner by the moment. Listen, can you hear it? Drifting across the graveyard, between the tombstones, that sound. The music! The music from the other world!
We are witches quite contrary.
That's the wrong track!
What?
No, that is the wrong track!
I put it down.
Stop! Just, no, cut it! Stop! Well, thanks so much for enhancing the atmosphere.
You told me to drop the needle on the third track. That's exactly what I did.
It was supposed to be Ave Satani from the Omen soundtrack.
I did not set up this turntable.
Never mind, just forget about it. In any event, since we are here in the graveyard, I thought that perhaps we could engage in a little bit of the black art of necromancy. Yes, we shall resurrect the long departed! And by that I mean I'm going to play an older Halloween episode of this podcast. And before you all start rolling your eyes, it's been re-edited, remastered, and there's been new music and effects put in, okay? Are we good? All right, good. Thus I give you a blast from the past! What is wrong with you?
I'm not doing anything.
Nemesis by H.P. Lovecraft. Through the ghoul-guarded gateways of slumber, past the wan-mooned abysses of night, I have lived all my lives without number. I have sounded all things with my sight, and I struggle and shriek ere the day break, being driven to madness with fright. I have whirled with the earth at the dawning, when the sky was a vaporous flame. I have seen the dark universe yawning, where the black planets roll without aim, where they roll in their horror unheeded, without knowledge or luster or name. I have drifted o'er seas without ending, under sinister grey-clouded skies, that the many-forked lightning is rending, that resound with hysterical cries, with the moans of invisible demons that out of the green waters rise. I have plunged like a deer through the arches of the hoary primordial grove, where the oaks feel the presence that marches and stalks on where no spirit dares rove. And I flee from a thing that surrounds me and leers through the dead branches above. I have stumbled by cave-ridden mountains that rise barren and bleak from the plain. I have drunk of the bog-fetid fountains that ooze down to the marsh and the main. And in hot cursed tarns I have seen things I care not to gaze on again. I have scanned the vast ivy-clad palace. I have trod its untenanted hall, where the moon writhing up from the valley shews the tapestried things on the wall, strange figures discordantly woven, which I cannot endure to recall. I have peered from the casement in wonder, at the mouldering meadows around, at the many-roofed village laid under the curse of a grave-girdled ground, and from rows of white urn-carven marble, I listen intently for sound. I have haunted the tombs of the ages. I have flown on the pinions of fear, where the smoke-belching Erebus rages, where the jackals loom snow-clad and drear, and in realms where the sun of the desert consumes what it never can cheer. I was old when the pharaohs first mounted the jewel-decked throne by the Nile. I was old in those epochs uncounted, when I and I only was vile, and man, yet untainted and happy, dwelt in bliss on the far Arctic isle. Oh, great was the sin of my spirit, and great is the reach of its doom. Not the pity of heaven can cheer it, nor can respite be found in the tomb. Down the infinite aeons come beating the wings of unmerciful gloom. Through the ghoul-guarded gateways of slumber, past the wan-mooned abysses of night, I have lived all my lives without number. I have sounded all things with my sight, and I struggle and shriek ere the day break, being driven to madness with fright. Well, that's very unfortunate to hear, sir, but this is a chocolate shop.
Is it? Well, in that case, why don't you box me up some truffles there, young fella, me lad?
Anything in particular, sir? We've got a really large selection here. What have you got that's fruity? Fruitier than that poem you just read me?
Mind your tongue, boy. That's a classic piece of macabre Americana I just graced you with.
You tried to rhyme the word above with rove, and it came out above.
Hey, don't lay that at my doorstep. I didn't write it. You want to blame someone, blame old Howie Phil. Oh, sorry, you can't, 'cause he's dead. Now, here's my money. Why don't you give me one of those tropical assortments?
Yes, sir. Here you go.
Thank you. And next time, why don't you have a little bit more appreciation for some old-school non-ironic poetry, you hipster?
Yeah, whatever, sir.
Good morning there, Stuart. How are you enjoying your first day at work?
Oh, good morning, Professor Armitage. I'm not sure I'm cut out for this business.
What's the matter? Don't you like working at the chocolate shop down at Miskatonic Mall?
Well, it's a perfectly nice place, sir. It's just that every time I try to sell somebody a chocolate-covered pretzel or a jawbreaker, they start spouting the works of Edgar Allan Poe or H.P. Lovecraft at me.
Oh, don't worry about that. That's just the Halloween season. It'll soon pass.
Thank God.
No, soon it'll be Christmas, and there'll be nothing but M.R. James and Algernon Blackwood.
Oh, can't wait.
Yes, this holiday season, why not come on down to Miskatonic Mall, conveniently located on the riverfront of beautiful downtown Arkham, Massachusetts, for a shopping experience you won't soon forget, even with the benefits of long-term therapy and/or an exorcism. And this Shocktober, remember to bring the young'uns over to the Mountains of Madness theme park at the five-pointed center atrium with a big flaming eye on it. And you won't soon forget our award-winning petting zoo, believe me you won't. And remember this Halloween, kids ride free, even if it does cost them their sanity. That's the Miskatonic Mall in historical downtown Arkham, Massachusetts, where the prices are right even if the geometry is all wrong. And don't forget more nerdy Lovecraft references, blah, 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 blah. Oh, for crumb's sake, what's your problem now?
Problem? I don't have a problem. I mean, it's just H.P. Lovecraft jokes on this podcast? Huh? What a shock and surprise.
Well, it's supposed to be a Halloween episode, you know.
We do Lovecraft jokes all the time around here. We didn't have to wait for Halloween.
It's a cultural touchstone for nerds. How many people out there you think got that Algernon Blackwood reference?
Probably more than are willing to admit. The point is, if I'm gonna do a joke about alien tentacled monstrosities, let's at least put a different spin on it. Hello, this Halloween, why not come on down to Hiro Nakamura's Emporium of Tentacled Erotica? Our corporation manufactures and sells only the finest visual adult entertainment involving tentacled alien monstrosities ravishing sailor-suited Japanese girls, all of whom are over the age of 18, even if they only look 12.
All right, hold it right there. Hiro Nakamura, you're under arrest for the production of child pornography and the exploitation of a minor.
Oh, really? So tell me, what part of my legal disclaimer threw you there, John Law?
Oh, I checked it out, all right. And those girls are all over the age of 18, but the Chthonian in this here DVD is what, 20 feet max? That can't make it older than 200 to 300 years. Barely a hatchling, you sick bastard.
No, you don't understand. It's a midget Chthonian. That's how we do. It's not.
Call my lawyer. Welcome back to 24-Hour Action News. I'm your host, Slip Zipley. Local sleaze merchant and fake Japanese businessman Hiro Nakamura was arrested today and charged with allegedly producing obscene material involving an underage Cthulian nightmare beast. This arrest comes as part of an international sweep and crackdown on a highly organized Cthulhuphile ring. This sick, degenerate subculture has its own secret websites, chat rooms, and believe it or not, an actual mascot, a cute, cuddly cartoon character they call Pedoshogoth. Now, you see, we've gone too far again, all right? It was funny at the beginning, but this has gone on entirely too long.
You're absolutely right, Slip. There's no excuse for this kind of behavior, not when we're so close to everyone's favorite holiday,
and that holiday would be Halloween, where even the dead can experience technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Come on, Slip, do the laugh like I told you.
Moo-hoo ha-ha times 3.
God, you're a party pooper sometimes. This week's episode of Technical Difficulties is brought to you by the Prince of Darkness.
Hi, Satan here. You know, when I'm not walkething about like a roaring lion seeking whom I may devour, I'm basically just like everyone else. Oh, I have my hopes, my dreams, my aspirations. I have a job to do, a difficult one, and I take pride in doing it. And afterwards, I like to kick back with a nice cold brewski. Only in my case, I like to drink it right in front of all the doomed souls and not offer them any just to piss them off. And if I war pants, I'd put them on one leg at a time, though, incidentally, that would make for 3 legs for me, if you catch my drift there, ladies, and many of you gentlemen out there in the audience. The point is that I'm just good, plain old folks, and I like to think that I am deeply in touch with what the common people in this country really want and really need. No, I really, really mean it. I'm Lucifer. It's my job description. And that's why I'm running for public office. This November, I'm hoping that you'll vote for me. Well, hoping is sort of a bit of a deceptive word there. Actually, I'm expecting you'll be voting for me. How? By playing into the system like you've always done. You see, the system doesn't really have your best interests in mind. Oh, it tells you that it does, but it doesn't. And maybe, in fact, it started off that way, thinking that it did have your best interests in mind, but it's always swallowing its own tail and ultimately working for itself. That's the basic dark side of human nature that propels that, and that's where I come in. Any vote that keeps the machine humming along is ultimately a vote for me, the dark, sticky, chaotic entropy at the end of the tunnel. Now, I understand that for many of you that's a rather depressing thought, but you can console yourself with this. I work both sides of the tracks. In fact, I work all sides of anything, so I am truly party independent. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nope, really, I do. I'm Satan, remember? Big cosmic powers and all. You're thinking, Lucifer, if this is all true and you're the brains behind the system, you're the heart and soul of the beast eternal, that the entire world hinges on you, where does that leave hope for humanity? Well, I don't know. You tell me. You're the ones with free will, after all. This is all your choice, in spite of your best efforts to suggest otherwise. I, the devil, doesn't make you do anything. It's all your choice. The system's set up the way it is. You can look at it from any angle. You can see what works and doesn't work, and you choose to accept it. You chose this system. All I do is facilitate the little niggling details. I'm such a comforting thought to so many of you, aren't I? A source of ultimate evil. The Inquisitions, the Crusades, the Jihads, the pogroms, the Holocausts, the acts of genocide, the political and ethnic purges. They couldn't possibly be your fault, could they? No, must be someone else pulling the strings to all of this. Yeah. Well, I see by the clock on the wall that my time here is almost up. But let me leave you with one last thought, and this especially goes out to you fundamentalist type, who simultaneously give me far more credit than I probably deserve, and think that they're so much more clever than I am. They say that I, the devil's greatest trick, is that I convinced people that I don't exist. Child's play. With the right combination of psychological manipulation, charisma, and a few stiff drinks, anyone could probably convince you that you don't exist. No, no, no. Would you like to know my best trick? Well, here it is. Peace, tolerance, understanding, empathy, compromise, the ability to agree to disagree and coexist. Those are the things that can save you as a species, and I have made you skeptical of them. Entrenched within your own holy scriptures. Anything less than your ideological total victory is a crushing defeat, and anyone who dares defend themselves against your beliefs is your persecutor. You, the faithful, the so-called self-described elect. You are the fires that will consume this world. And as the flames destroy everything you hoped for, everything you dreamed of, everything you built, your friends, your neighbors, your families, your children, as the flames come for you will place your hand over your hearts and gaze skyward and say, Lord, I murdered everything on the surface of the world, and I did it for you. I did it in your name. I did it for your love. So, in conclusion, this November, be sure and vote for me, Satan. You can do that by voting for the values that you cherish, or by voting for change that you can believe in. Or, don't vote at all. It's all the same to me, really. I'm the Prince of Darkness, and I approve this message. And coming up next on the Tekdiff Network, it's time once again for the Apostle Hour with your host, Pastor Chester Ermine.
Thanks, Beelzebub. That's right, kids. It's time once again for the Apostle Hour with Chester Ermine, the talk show that talks about all things from a Christian and religious perspective. And now, here's the pastor. We really couldn't get someone besides Satan to be the lead-in for the show this week, really? Hey, he paid for the time slot. What are you gonna do?
Hello, everyone. I'm Pastor Chester Ermine, and this is the Apostle Hour. Well, it's that time of year again, folks. The spooky season of ghosts and goblins and skeletons and all things dark and scary and fun. Halloween. And as a Christian broadcaster, how could I not help but devote an entire episode of my program this time of year to the somewhat controversial subject of the holiday of Halloween, what with its pagan origins and its alleged occult connotations and its dark and scary imagery? Well, the answer is, of course, I can't. I used to resent that fact very greatly over the years, until finally one day it dawned on me that by doing an annual Halloween-themed episode, I could fill up an entire week on the schedule without having to think about it too hard. That is, of course, until my beautiful and talented wife, Willow Strickland, entered the scene. Willow, as you know, is a high priestess of a neo-pagan religion, and for whom Halloween, or Samhain, to give it its correct Celtic pronunciation, is an important religious holiday.
Blessed be, homies.
Peace out. Now, there's a lot of myths, misconceptions, rumors, and outright lies associated with the celebration of Halloween within our popular culture. But we thought that rather than have Willow go down them as a laundry list and debunk them one by one, it might be more interesting to have a debate between her and a respected anti-Halloween crusader of the fundamentalist Christian persuasion, partially in the interest of fairness on the broadcast airwaves, but mostly to give her a first-hand account of the kind of crap I've had to put up with on this show on a weekly basis.
One side, sexy. Let me show you how it's done.
It's so cute to see them on the mic right before this job grinds their soul into dust. Sometimes they just have to learn for themselves.
And with that in mind, our guest in studio today is Pastor Criminy Schnook of Living Tidal Waves Independent Baptist Ministries.
And author of the book, Halloween Darkness, Unholy Holiday.
Yes.
How Satanists, witches, pagans, atheists, Mormons, and the Catholic Church feed true Christians Satan's filthy lies.
Yes.
And commit atrocities right under the noses of the American public in the name of their dark demonic masters.
Quite a title.
Hang on, it's continued on the inside front cover. And hope to establish a one-world government with the help of the Illuminati.
I think we've got it now.
Leonard, was this actually for sale on Amazon.com? Are you kidding? That was the 8th edition. Nice work if you can get it, I guess.
You two are enjoying this too much.
Hey, you've got to laugh or you'll just start sobbing uncontrollably.
Pastor Schnook, welcome to the Apostle Hour.
Thank you so much for having me on your program. It's very, very nice to be here. It's a wonderful thing.
Oh, boy.
Now, as I pointed out earlier, this is going to be a debate between two opposing religious viewpoints on the subject of Halloween. As the veteran broadcaster and host of the Apostle Hour, I've decided to take the role of moderator, which will consist of me kicking back in my chair and playing the latest version of Angry Birds Seasons on my iPhone. Have fun, you two!
Well, Pastor Schnook, you're the guest here, so why don't you start?
Well, thank you so much, Pastor, for allowing me onto your program. Halloween is a terrible day. Terrible is Satan's birthday. It's a day where witches and Satanists kill all kinds of animals, and they practice human sacrifice, and engage in all kinds of terrible things. This is the devil's birthday.
Is that the new version?
This call comes back.
Yeah.
Ancient times when
It's the one that's got that inflatable bird. It's a brand new bird.
And the Druids.
How's that working out?
They worshipped
I don't know, it's kind of a weird dynamic.
There's a god of death.
Is it?
He
Oh,
looked
good shot.
Looked like the Grim Reaper, and they would burn people
You know, I gotta say,
alive,
these puzzles
burn
are just
people
getting harder
alive,
and harder
top
every time they
forever,
release a
big
new version.
giant vats
Oh, it's not
of
that
boiling
bad.
fat
I mean,
and oil,
no.
and then it was terrible things they do.
I'm
Now-
stuck, hang on.
Now we have Halloween. They came here, we have kids, and they dress
Gave
them
up already,
in
huh?
costumes and makes them go get candy. And the witches bless the candy, and they bless the candy, and they make demons follow the children.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Terrible thing. And then the children out
No,
there, they put on
no.
the costumes turn them into monsters.
Ah.
What happened? They go claws and fangs, and they drip blood.
I'll get
Drip
it.
Blood. Blood is the thing that they want for
Ah,
the
see?
sacrifices of babies and animals.
By the way, how's your tea?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's that maple stuff.
It's a terrible thing. It's horrible. They have different beliefs from us and things like that.
yeah.
And when and then they go
Oh,
back to the things that the
forget
Catholic
this.
Church, the Catholic Church.
Oh, you gonna let that one go?
Years
Oh.
ago, the Catholic Church was funded
I
by
don't
Satan.
know.
And
That's
Satan
not...
told them that they should make a holiday for to celebrate his birthday. And his birthday was
Mighty
celebrated.
bird, that's a bad
Now we
player.
have what we have today with a heavy metal.
Doesn't matter, it gets the job done.
gangs,
if you say so.
violent video games.
Oh, hang on a second here.
Horrible things.
Okay, thank you so much, Criminy, for that very, very well thought out viewpoint.
I'm not sure he was done.
Rule 1, learn when to cut him off. All right, Willow, do you have a rebuttal to that statement?
I certainly do, Pastor Ermine. As a Wiccan high priestess, as one who reveres the earth, who worships the mother moon and the horned god, I would like to give the neo-pagan perspective on this most wonderful and sacred time of years for people of my faith, Halloween.
But you know what? I'm not going to. Screw that. Halloween is fun, and there's candy. The end. Ding ding, and we have ourselves a winner. Well, that went terrifically. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for joining in on this debate.
Pastor, do I get to respond to that?
Well, I've got a couple of birds left on this level, so knock yourself out.
Well, I have two things to say. First off, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one cometh unto the Father but by me." And secondly, why is there a naked woman sitting across from me?
Well, I told you I was a witch high priestess. I do all my rituals skyclad. Besides, I'm not really naked. I mean, I do have a jack-o'-lantern painted on the end of each one of my titties here. Yeah, I'm surprised it took you that long to notice that, criminy.
Harlot! Tool of Satan! Tool of the devil! Perverted servant of the most stark and evil one, which, I call thee, I rebuke thee in the name of the Father and the Son. And stop bouncing those things at me!
What? I'm just adjusting my chair. Well, I gotta give you credit there, Willow. You're way better at this than I ever was. Well, you're just a boy. You're not properly equipped for the job, that's all.
Guess not.
Should I show him how I shaved my pubes into a black cat? Oh, Dab took it too far again. Again? This episode's not particularly scary this year or anything. Well, Leonard, sometimes Halloween isn't about dark and gruesome. Sometimes it's just about light and good, wholesome, clean family fun. And bouncing witch titties. Which would make a fantastic band name. So happy Halloween, everyone!
Look, there's the cue point right there. You can see the name of the track right on the label, right?
Yeah.
See? Okay?
Yes.
Now that's supposed to be evil, spooky, satanic music.
Yes.
I put it down the needle.
Right.
We are here to scare you. We are here to scare.
Well, that is just weird.
Isn't it, though? Oh, we're back on.
What? Wasn't that terrifying? All those cultural references to things that happened in 2011, like Angry Birds, and also doing a dodgy Japanese accent, and yeah. Maybe it's good there was a 2-year break of this podcast. Anyway, we'll be back again on Halloween, and until then, we'll leave you with... Have we got anything that isn't the Weird Kids Halloween album?
Well, I do have one thing that I've dug out of the archive that you may not have heard. H.P. Lovecraft.
Really? Wait, is this a recording of the writer H.P. Lovecraft or of the band H.P. Lovecraft in the late 60s?
Oh, you caught me out. This is actually the band H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, they're not scary or spooky or weird. They were just a psychedelic rock combo from Chicago. They had nothing to do with Lovecraft or the Cthulhu mythos apart from using his name.
Not particularly weird, is it?
No.
Unless it's a recording of them doing a roll-on deodorant commercial.
For the love of God, play that right now.
And won't wear off as the day wears on. And won't wear off as the day wears on. Fan gets you through the longest day. Fan has the stuff to stay and stay. Fan won't wear off as the day wears on.
Up close or uptight, Ban spray deodorant is a day expanding experience because Ban won't wear off as the day wears on.
Fan won't wear off as the day wears on. As the day wears on. As the day wears on.